Good evening, Mr. Garcia. How are you?
Doing well, Council President. How are you?
I'm just fine.
Good.
And good evening to everyone else that's on the call. We'll be calling the meeting to order in a minute.
Ready when you are, Council President.
Okay, it's 5:30.
Yes, I have 5:30.
Just let me turn to my statement. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting is being called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to Public Laws 1975, Chapter 231. This agenda is complete to the extent known and was sent to the Trenton Times, posted on the first floor bulletin board in the City Hall, and filed in the City Clerk's office. Formal action will be taken. Roll call, Mr. Garcia.
Certainly. Ms. Caldwell-Wilson?
Present.
Mr. Harrison?
Present.
Mr. Mushal?
Present.
Ms. Vaughn? Ms. Wilkins? Ms. Wilkins? Ms. McBride?
Present.
I'm present.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm present.
Okay.
Ms. Wilkins is present.
Ms. Wilkins, you're noted. Brandon Garcia, Municipal Clerk, I'm present. Mr. Kaloji?
I'm present.
Thank you. Mr. Cruz?
Present. Good evening, everyone.
Mr. Colin Cherry?
I'm present. Good evening.
Mr. Liston?
Present.
Mr. Bridges?
Present.
No? Perfect. Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
Present.
Mr. Douglas?
Present. Good evening.
Mr. Daniels?
Present. Good evening.
Dr. Lopez?
Good evening. I'm present.
Mr. Anatari?
I'm present.
Ms. Richardson?
Good evening. I am present.
Mr. Lavenberg?
Good evening. Present.
Mr. Zielinski?
Present.
Okay.
So, Mr. Garcia, we're going to do the reports before we go into the executive session, or?
That's at your will, Mr. Council President. I don't believe I have any reports that I've received at this time, or from this particular docket.
Right. So we'll be voting on them on Thursday, so we can just go ahead and ask IT to put up the get prepared to put up the notice, and you can read the executive session into the records.
Certainly. Hold on one second. Resolution authorizing the City Council of the City of Trenton to hold an executive session which excludes the public for the purposes of litigation. Item listed is Danielle London versus City of Trenton. Is there a motion?
Council President, if I may interject with your permission, we do not have any outside counsel on the line. Just want to bring that to your attention.
Okay. I think we need to go ahead and hold it. Mr. Bridges.
Understood. That's fine. I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
I just needed to, I needed to be able to hear it. Could we just go ahead and hold it and you just make it as quick as possible?
I will do my best, yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Bridges.
Do I have a motion to go to executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Bride, second by Ms. Wilkins. Roll call, Ms. Caldwell-Wilson,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Michelle,
Yes.
Ms. Wilkins,
Yes.
Ms. McBride.
Yes, Ms. Wilkins, your volume is down very low.
Okay, let me see.
That motion carried. I'm going to go ahead and assign into a breakout room for executive session. One moment, all.
Why can't I?
One, two, three, four. Where am I missing? There it is. Okay.
Are we,
Director Bridges, I have at this time, I have the council members, yourself. Is there anybody additional that needs to go into this breakout room? Is there anyone additional that needs to be assigned?
No, no one else, unless Mr. Kaloji's back. I know he's going to be a little behind, but unless he's here, no one else.
Mr. Pelosi should be here.
Yeah, Mr.
I've got-
Kaloji's here.
I've got.
Oh, sorry,
Mr. Kaloji.
Mr. Kaloji. Yes, and Mr. Kaloji as well.
That's it.
Sorry about that. I've got Mr. Kaloji as well. Okay, so we're good.
You want to, it says join.
Okay. One moment. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I have to insert myself here. Excuse me. Forgive me, I have to reassign everyone. Recreate. Assign.
Because we're
Is
back
everyone-
in, because
Yeah,
we're back
Mr.
in a regular
Garcia,
session.
Mr. Garcia,
Yes.
It broke, the
It
breakout
broke the
room
room.
ended in a
Okay,
minute.
I'll recreate it. Okay. Should be everybody. Okay. Well, I'm not listed myself here.
I see
Are you,
still
Mr.
here too.
Bridges?
Okay, I see it. I see it.
Okay. To assign Mr. Bridges.
Recording stopped.
It's up for a vote tonight.
Okay, that's, you said 24, 25, and 26?
22, 25, and 22, 26.
22, 25, and 22, 26. Thank you. All right. And so that's ordinance 22, 25, an ordinance creating the position of Geographic Information System Specialist 3 in the Department of Water and Sewer, therefore, in setting forth certain regulations for the implementation of the same. Local 220, 2286, range 48, salary 69,251 to 97,642. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call. Ms. Caldwell-Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Michelle?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn? Ms. Vaughn, are you with us? Moving on, Ms. Wilkins?
Bless you.
Thank you.
Question, Ms. Wilkins? I'm sorry.
yes,
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you. And Ms. McBride?
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 2225, excuse me. Ordinance 2226, an ordinance creating the position of water repair 3 in the Department of Water and Sewer, fixing the salary range, therefore, and setting forth certain regulations for the implementation of the same, local 2286, range 46, salary $64,777 to $84,828. Is there a
So
motion?
moved.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Caldwell-Wilson,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Michelle,
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn. I believe we've lost Ms. Vaughn. Ms. Wilkins? Ms. Wilkins?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay. Yes.
Ms. McBride?
Yes.
Motion carried. Council President, wherever you'd like to move next.
Yes, I would just like to keep with the same schedule. I just wanted to
Okay.
make sure that we were able to get these two ordinances out of the way so we can go back to the ordinances on the top.
Okay. So that brings us to ordinance 2222, an ordinance amending the Trenton City Code to amend chapter 257 to include a new article, complete and green streets. Is
So
there a
moved.
motion? Thank you.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Caldwell-Wilson.
Yes.
Charles,
Harrison.
you're driving. Could you take yourself off of the video?
Okay.
Mr. Charles,
Yes, I heard you.
could you take yourself off the video? We're in a meeting. You could be
Yes.
on the audio, please, sir.
Mhm.
There you go. I stopped this video.
Thank you.
Sorry
We were
about
at
that.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Michelle.
Yes.
I believe we've lost Ms. Vaughn, Ms. Wilkins,
Yes.
and Ms. McBride.
Yes.
Motion carried. Bringing us to ordinance 2224, an ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property identified on the city map as 208 North Clinton Avenue, block 1603, lot 25, pursuant to NJSA 40A 12 to 13B, 12-13B 5 to James Ross for the sum of $15,222.
So
Is there a
moved.
motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Caldwell-Wilson.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
I have
Is there any
questions.
discussion? My apologies.
Yes. Council President, so we're voting on all the ordinances tonight, or we're voting
So
on
we
everything?
could just get them out of the way.
Okay, all right, I have no
yes.
problem with it. I just have a quick question. The gentleman, Mr. Ross, this is a property that's next to his. Is Mr. Daniels on the line?
Mr. Daniels?
Yes, ma'am,
Director
I
Dan-
am. I am on the line. Yes, a continuous property owner.
Okay, Mr. Daniels. It doesn't say how large the lot is.
It's an
You have to
undersized lot. Give me a moment. I'll
Okay.
go to appraisal. Lot size is 25 by 100, 2,500 square foot.
Wow. And it was appraised at, what was the appraisal?
Recording in progress.
The
What was
appraised
the-
value was established at 11,500.
I don't have any of that. Okay. But this is next door to Mr. James Ross. He lives in because it's a continuous, right? It's right
Yes,
next
ma'am.
to his property.
That's correct.
Okay.
28 North Clinton Avenue.
25 by 100. Does it say the size of his property, what the size of his property is?
I'm looking now.
Okay.
As you can imagine, the package is voluminous.
Yeah.
I don't have that information readily available, Councilwoman. I can get it to you though, before the end of the meeting.
Okay. Is this a home or is this a,
It's an undersized lot on
no,
Clinton.
but is it next to a house is what I'm asking?
No.
That's-
It's a
that's-
business area. It's a little store, and then it's a lot. Then it's his business on Clinton Avenue, right on in the fork in the road. It's a little bodega, a little tire shop, and then a small lot. There's no homes there. That's a little business corner.
Oh, I'm just trying to picture it.
Council President,
Oh,
I got
I
to
know.
interrupt. Housekeeping item, I got to interrupt, Council President. Housekeeping item
Okay, go ahead.
regarding procedure. I believe the recording just came on and we missed the greater part of the meeting.
No, it's been recording. I did make sure that it was recording for cloud coverage, but we were recording. If the only thing that may have been missed was a recent vote, but they are I have the notes for those here. We've had no other discussion other than returning to the session.
No, but the recording of the attendance was not, the recording was not on.
For the attendance,
That's
the
right.
recording was on the beginning of the meeting. It had been on at least 15 minutes prior. The only
No,
time
but
the
I'm just
recording may
saying,
have stopped-
I'm just making a note of the facts here. Recording just came on because when it comes on, it sends a message to all the attendees that it has
Right.
now started. So
And
I'm
only-
just letting folks know, and look, Mr. Garcia,
Yes,
I'm just letting you know that parts of this meeting has not been recorded. You can go back and determine which sections, okay?
certainly. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so,
Yes, ma'am.
Council President, I just wanted you to be aware of that. And everybody
you.
on the call, because the bottom line is all council public meetings must be recorded. And for
That's right.
purposes of, to support Open Public Meetings Act and to provide transparency to the residents and taxpayers of the city and the electorate. So fact that we don't have proper records of these meetings is just, quite frankly, potentially unlawful. And we depend on the clerk to perform his statutory duties as he is the custodian of records.
Thank you, Councilwoman Vaughn. It's so noted. Now, Councilwoman Wilkins,
Yes,
you may continue.
yeah, I just kind of wanted to know the size of the property that it was next to. I think it's important that we do move forward with it because it is a business in the city of Trenton. So, but I was just curious as to his property size versus the actual
lot that he's
the
purchasing.
vacant lot that's connected to his property. Yes,
It should have been attached to our
It should have.
paperwork.
should have.
And Mr. Daniels, is there a way that you could get that to the
Yeah, I'm
Councilwoman?
gonna get that. I want to get that to the Councilwoman by tonight. If not tonight, first thing tomorrow morning. Council
But it
President.
doesn't help me tomorrow. It doesn't. I must say, Mr. Daniels, because I need to know now. We're getting ready to move to vote on it.
What? Okay.
Okay. All right. I mean, it is a business owner, so I believe in assisting our businesses in the city of Trenton.
What I will say is that this property was sent out to all of the contiguous property owners, and they all had an opportunity to bid on this.
Mhm.
The respective person who eventually won, his bid came in at the highest of $15,222. It should be noted on this that when we sent out for an appraisal, as is the requirement, the appraisal came back at $11,500.
Okay, because this is second
President-
reading, and we voted for it, so, I mean, it is up for second reading, but I was just curious. Okay, thank you, Mr. Daniels, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
They're waiting for your vote, Councilwoman Wilkins.
Oh, yes, I apologize. Yes, absolutely, for Mr. Ross and his business.
Okay.
Mhm. Yes, thank you.
All right. And Councilwoman McBride. Council President McBride.
Yes, but since Councilwoman
Woman
Vaughn
Vaughn
came
is
back
back.
into the meeting,
Mhm.
she can weigh in on this vote.
Councilwoman Vaughn,
Yes.
noted. And Council President, did you have your vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Noted. Motion carried. I believe we're on to resolutions.
Yes.
Resolution 22-349.
Would you-
Resolution. I'm sorry?
Yes, are we going to find out which ones are going to move in consent on Thursday and which ones are going to be roll called?
Are we speaking?
Okay, go ahead. As we go.
Okay. Okay, so we're on to resolutions. Resolution 22-349, resolution authorizing the settlement of a workers' compensation claim in the matter of Werner Kube versus City of Trenton, claim petition number 2017-33357 in the claim amount of $6,534.40, including attorney fees and costs.
So moved.
So, Mr. Bridges, we didn't discuss this. We didn't discuss this workman compensation matter. Are we doing, Mr. Bridges?
Yes, Council President.
We didn't discuss the workers' compensation matter, the claim.
We did not, and I that was oversight on my part. We can if we could pull this so I can have workers' compensation council at the next meeting.
There's two here.
Yeah, we could pull those.
Oversights.
So we're removing 22-349 from the administration is pulling, and the 22-350 is an audit service. Grace. Yes. Okay, so we'll remove these. The administration will move these.
Just 49, not the 350. That's not settling a case.
That's not a working compensation case. Okay, so on Thursday, this will be removed. 22-349. It's being pulled by the administration.
Looks like I might have a hard time editing this. I have a manual note here.
All righty, pulled by administration. All righty, so we're on 22-350.
Okay, 22-350, resolution authorizing a one-time payment to Gray's Insurance Workers' Compensation Excess Audit Services in the amount of $41,566.
Does any of the council members have questions in reference to this resolution? If there's no questions, we'll move this to a consent agenda Thursday.
Okay, moving to resolution 22-351. Resolution awarding contract through fair and open process in accordance with NJSA 19:44A-20.4 et sec to Mark Gialella for telecommunication services in the amount not to exceed $140,000 for a period of 1 year from August 1st, 2022 to July 31st, 2023. RFP 2022-21, original RFP. Okay, and I have a note here, and I believe I did circulate the original RFP, which Mr. Cherry did email to me.
I believe that should be roll call, Council President, because the administration just sent us the information about 11:40 or 11:30, something like that, a.m. And we asked for this. We asked for the information back prior to the September 1st. Yes, and we got it today.
So you would move to table?
No, not table. Roll call.
Oh, you want to roll call this?
Yes, ma'am. Because we need time in order to view the materials. We just received all the information. It's a 49-page document, and we just received it this morning.
Good enough.
which we were supposed to receive for September 1st.
Council President?
Yes, go right ahead, Councilwoman Vaughn.
Yeah, I agree with Councilwoman Wilkins that we need more time to review this particular contract. And I'm very familiar with this one. And I did, even though the information, supporting information was sent very late, if you look at that supporting information, it's incomplete. So it's totally incomplete. It's not the information not even worth the paper is written on, and that's why he sent it as late as he did, because you scroll through those pages and all of them are empty. Those questions are empty.
Thank you.
I don't even know what to say about that, Council President, because I guess it's no use for any council member to make requests or have a concern about lack of data or input because it never changes. So actually, why even have it roll call? Because here we are asking for more information and the administration is not held accountable. You know, Councilwoman Wilkins is relatively new, but this has been the same old since 2018, since I came to council. And if anybody reads those documents, they're not even complete. And this particular vendor has gotten a contract time and time again. It baffles me. So Councilwoman Wilkins, when you read that document, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's incomplete. Which leads me to believe that it didn't go through the fair and open process.
Yeah. So
that this vendor was just chosen. And we all know that is unacceptable and unlawful. And that's why I'm going to say thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Council President, can Mr. Cruz or Mr. Cherry speak to that, why the document is blank? I haven't had a chance to review it because I was doing other things and making sure we had other information. But can they speak to why the document is blank?
Madam President?
Yes, go right ahead, Mr. Cherry.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Councilwoman. What council members requested was the original RFP that we sent out. The response was already in the packet. So council had requested the original RFP. So that is what was sent out. So it is the original, not filled out by any vendor. Mr. Gialella's response is in the original packet. So what you received today was a copy of the solicitation, not filled out by the vendor. The vendor's response was in the initial packet.
Council President? Hello?
Go right ahead, Councilwoman.
Yeah, I just want to ask Mr. Cherry one question very quickly. How many responses, because I didn't read through the original response. I thought that was it. How many other businesses applied?
We received 2 total responses, so 1 additional one. That vendor was providing the services for $150,000 and was seeking to provide primarily a remote consulting service. And for this service, we also, in addition to Mr. Gialella's submission being less expensive, we also felt that it was necessary to have our telephone service person be more present on site.
Thank you, Mr. That resolution is going to be roll called, so we can just continue to 22-352, Mr. Garcia.
Certainly. Resolution 22-352, resolution exercising the option to extend the contract for an additional 1 year awarded to Maestro Technologies Incorporated for technical support services for the City of Trenton Department of Administration, Division of Management, Information Technology System from September 16th, 2022 to September 15th, 2023, in an amount not to exceed $774,855. I see here CC 2020-08.
This is roll call. Mr. Garcia, this is roll call.
Roll call. Noted. Okay. Moving along.
Yes, please.
Resolution 22-368, resolution awarding contract through a competitive contracting process to Claims Resolution Corporation Incorporated to provide third-party administrative services for the City of Trenton Department of Administration from September 1st, 2022 to August 31st, 2023, in an amount not to exceed a flat annual fee of $125,950, CC 2022-02.
Is there any council member that would like to speak to this resolution? Seeing none, we will move to consent agenda. Hearing none, I should say. Apologize.
Noted. Moving on, Resolution 22-372, resolution in recognition and appreciation of Clara E. Sampson, 40 years of serving the community.
372. I don't have
I think that's new.
I don't have
It
372.
is. It was that was added. Councilwoman Caldwell Wilson. This is the resolution honoring Ms. Sampson that
Oh, okay.
you put on. That you wanted on.
So move. Oh, we're not voting. Okay.
Shall I place this on consent agenda as well?
Yes, if no other council member have any questions,
Well, I mean, Council President, I do.
yes.
If we're honoring any resident or citizen or business partner or et cetera, I think this warrants and merit it go on roll call so that, we can, communicate or read, why we as a community we appreciate Ms. Claire Sampson. I think it's we would be remiss to put something like this and on consent agenda. So do we have a bio or
Councilwoman, if I may,
yeah.
I turned in that resolution for the last meeting and it never got on the docket, and she was being honored on that Saturday. They got to me at the last minute, but I did have the resolution prepared to come before council, and the meeting was canceled.
Okay. Well, do you think it's worth to not to speak on it for people who didn't make the event, and then it will be on the record? Councilwoman Caldwell Wilson, would you like it on the record? I said, would you like it on the record?
Yeah, that's why I'm putting it forth, because because of all the mishaps, it never got on the docket, and I had to present it to her. So I just do want it on the record. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's roll call it, Council President.
My understanding is to be for roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't have it here on my paper, so I just have to write it in.
Yeah, I've got it. Okay, moving to Resolution 22-354, resolution authorizing the City of Trenton to cancel 2 erroneous tax sale certificates, 601 Edgewood Avenue, $269.27, and 1214 Fountain Avenue, $4,171.20. this matter be to consent.
Is there any, if there's no questions from the council, we can put this as part of the consent agenda?
Okay. Moving on, Resolution 22-355, resolution authorizing the City of Trenton to issue 3 tax refunds totaling $4,288.37. 28 Murray Street, $1,004.99. 1401 South Broad Street, $1,496.53. And 2038 Liberty Street, $1,786.85.
This may go on to the consent agenda.
Noted. Resolution 22-356, resolution authorizing the City of Trenton to issue refunds on 11 properties totaling $103,700.73 as a result of New Jersey tax court judgments.
So I wanted to ask Councilwoman Wilkins if she received the information that she requested. She asked for a breakdown of the actual properties. Councilwoman Wilkins, did you get the information?
Yes, I believe they emailed it to us, the actual document. I think they did that the next day or the day after, but we did get it. Yes.
Alrighty, thank you. So this can be a part of the consent agenda.
Noted.
Alrighty.
Okay. Resolution 22-357, resolution amending resolution 22-055 to the law offices of Walentz, Goldman, and Spitzer, PA, to correct the funding account from City Clerk's office to the Law Department.
Council President,
Which one is that? 22-357?
Mm-hmm.
Council President,
Yes, go right ahead.
can the business administrator speak to this in detail, or the financial officer? Because what is there to correct about this particular law service?
Being moved from the clerk's account to the law department's account to pay it. Based on the budget hearings, there was a decision made by the council body to have all law contracts be paid and managed out of the law department. So this is changing it from the clerk's budget to the law department's budget.
Is this the redevelopment attorney, Mr.
Yes, it is.
Mr. John Hoffman?
Yes, it is.
Because Mr. John Hoffman hasn't done any redevelopment work for the city council since I don't know when.
So he probably won't get paid then.
But he's been doing it for the mayor, so he should get paid.
He's been doing work for about a year and he hasn't been paid because of the issues that were going on in the clerk's office. This is simply sending the money over to the law department so we can actually pay him for the work that he did.
He was paid, Mr. Bridges.
He hasn't been paid in some time.
Okay. Alrighty, so.
But it's just to get him paid, so that's what it is.
Alrighty, so this can be a part of the consent agenda.
We can leave it at the clerk's office if you would prefer, Ms. Vaughn.
Mr. Bridges.
We can leave it at the clerk's office if you would prefer.
Right now. I'm trying to get through the docket, please, sir. Would you please put on your professional hat tonight? Mr. Garcia.
Moving on, yes, Mr. Council President. Resolution 22-358, resolution authorizing an amendment to increase the contract which is awarded to Lenore Hanna by way of 22-070 to provide prosecutorial services in the Trenton Municipal Court through fair and open process in the amount not to exceed $30,000 in accordance with NJSA 19:44A 20.5 at SEC for a period covering January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022.
Council President?
Yes, go right ahead, Councilwoman.
Yes, Mr. Garcia, that third line, prosecutorial services is missing the P. So you may have to correct the original.
Prosecutorial services?
Yeah.
Okay.
On mine it's prosecutorial.
Oh, I got a P here. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. So this can be part of the consent agenda.
Noted.
All right.
Okay. Resolution 22-359, resolution authorizing an amendment to increase the contract which was awarded by way of Resolution 22067 to Cynthia Licardo, Esquire, to provide prosecutorial services in the amount, prosecutorial services in the Trenton Municipal Court through a fair and open process in an amount not to exceed $30,000 in accordance with NJSA 19:44A20.5, that's SEC, for the period covering January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022.
I have a
This
question.
can go right ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Bridges, why is this contract from January? Why is it coming to us so late?
It's increasing that contract, Councilwoman Caldwell Wilson. The contract was awarded in January. The funds that were allocated for the sessions that Ms. Licardo was covering has since expired, so we need to increase that amount to cover these sessions through the balance of 2022 year.
Okay, because that's not
I tried to make it clear by saying amendment to increase the contract in accordance with the period that it was awarded.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So shouldn't you put that word in there, amendment to increase the contract? Can you add that in there?
It's the fourth, fifth, sixth word.
It's in there, Council President.
Okay, it says resolution authorizing an amendment to the contract.
To increase.
Okay.
You may have a different version, maybe. Maybe you have an old version, but it says on the one I'm looking at, a resolution authorizing an amendment to increase the contract.
All right. I must have an old version.
You probably have an old one, yes.
Mm-hmm. All righty. This can be a part of the consent agenda. All right, moving right along.
Okay. Resolution 22-360, resolution authorizing a payment of $83,000 to the law office of Rainone, Coughlin, and Mincello, LLC, for services rendered for general municipal litigation and other legal matters through a fair and open process in accordance with NJSA 1944A 20.5, that's SEC.
This can be roll call.
Okay.
You may continue.
Roll call noted. Resolution 22-342, resolution authorizing the appropriation of $750,000 from funds allocated to the city of Trenton under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 for the implementation of a COVID-19 and monkeypox testing, vaccination, and monitoring program for the city of Trenton.
So for this particular resolution, Mr. Kaloji, are you on? I don't know if Mr. Kaloji is on because he's supposed to be leaving us for a short period. But Mr. Kaloji had sent a memo to the administration, and Mr. Bridges, I'm quite sure you received the memo asking the administration to identify in the American Rescue Plan Act where they are allowed to administer any monies from that act to monkeypox. So we have not gotten anything from you, Mr. Bridges. You sent a little short version of something, but it wasn't from the Treasury Department.
That is correct. I do not have anything from the Treasury Department. I sent you the section that was being relied upon. If again, I did not get anything from the federal.
Right, but the Treasury Department had outlined the rules, and the rules were very detailed. So I would like to roll call this. You may continue, Mr.
Wait a
President.
minute, Council President, I have a question
Yes, go right ahead.
regarding that particular resolution.
Yes.
Yeah, I concur with what you questioned. regarding the intent of the original act, the ARPA Act, and what it was the scope of that act and the funds and its usage. And I don't think we should be adding on. But I thank you for doing that research. But I'm interested in hearing back from it. And I don't think this should be moved until we get a clear understanding of what the U.S. Treasury guidance is. And furthermore, I'm concerned also about where this testing and vaccination and where is it going to go? Who's going to do this work? Which organization? So is any information, and if that can be provided by Thursday, that'll be appreciated. So where is the $750,000 going to go? To what entity that's going to be tasked with providing all this testing and vaccinating and monitoring? I don't see any plan. I don't know where the $750,000 is going to go. It says that's what it's going to do, but there's no evidence of who's going to be doing it. It seems like you got St. Francis Medical Center is about to be torn down. So I don't know who is going to facilitate this type of stuff and where are they going to do it? And will the citizens of the city of Trenton have access to it? Because it's not clear at all as to what the administration, the mayor, is planning to do with $750,000 out of the ARPA funds. And I don't understand. Additionally, I will say, why are we using the ARPA funds for this? Why isn't this coming out of the general budget of the Department of Health and Human Services, where if Dr. Adele may want to speak to that? Dr. Adele should have put some of this money into the budget. She should allocate it or plan for this type of testing. This is ongoing. This is business as usual for any municipality. So why are we using our ARPA funds for this when it should be coming out of the general budget? So, Council President, can Dr. Adela explain that? Why doesn't she have enough funding, or didn't she plan for this in her budget to make sure that when pandemics arise and like monkeypox, why isn't she planning for this in her budget? Why are we using ARPA funds for anything that comes up willy-nilly with no plan?
Council President, can I piggyback off of Council?
Well,
all right, go ahead.
She asked Dr.
I apologize.
Lopez to speak to her question. If Dr. Lopez would like to speak to it.
All right, Council President, can I speak?
Yes, go right ahead, Dr. Lopez.
Sure. And in light of some of the questions that Councilwoman Vaughn noted, the Trenton Neighborhood Clinic on Olden Avenue has been considered an expanded clinic site. So we are providing the monkeypox vaccine on North Olden Avenue. My nurses are providing it, but I only have 3 nurses. And also on August the 11th, I submitted a memo to all of the city council body through the city clerk on August the 11th with a memo detailing what the $750,000 would cover. And I do need additional nurses to assist with the monkeypox vaccination. And I will say this, that with the monkeypox, we have to follow individuals. I hear echo. I'm not sure if it's my phone or if it's somebody else. But there's a 2-series vaccine where we follow them for 2 months. And then there's a 5-series vaccine where we follow them for 5 months. And so they get a vaccine for every 28 days. And we have to go out and assess the entire body and look at every lesion on the body. And we have to ensure that these lesions are healed and scabbed and crushed over in order for them to be cleared to return to the general population. So this is a lot of work that is impacted on my health department with only 3 nurses and my health officer as well as myself doing the work.
Okay.
And so our budget does not have enough to cover all of this, ma'am.
But that's the purpose, right? That's my question. Why didn't you forecast for this type of, this is general business as usual as far as I'm concerned. Why use the ARPA funds?
We do have funding that's allocated for like communicable diseases, but and also when it comes to COVID, we have grant funding and everything that comes from the state. However, when you're looking at matters like this, which is considered a outbreak, and how it's increasing, you're talking about the monkeypox is rapidly increasing worldwide. In New Jersey, our numbers are high. And so when you look at that and the funding that we have, it's not enough to cover the expenditure because, again, for one person, you have to monitor them for 5 months. That's one person. And so
what's the incident in Trenton?
We're currently...
You said the world in New Jersey, but what is the numbers in Trenton?
We have 15 confirmed and 4 unconfirmed, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So for $750,000. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Councilwoman Wilkins, you have the floor. I just wanted to ask you to reflect back to the budget when the doctor said she had a surplus in her department when you include your questioning. Go right ahead, Councilwoman Wilkins.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that part. What I was going to state is that in the, Dr. Lopez did send us the information. The issue that I had with the information is that they're asking for $750,000, but in the documentation, the budget, I think it comes to like $292,000. So I just wanted to know where the additional monies was, what the additional monies were for, because it was to hire additional nursing staff in order to address. And I know that the contact tracing does have to take place in terms, it has to be sometimes after hours. But the issue that I have is that Council President, is that monkeypox and COVID are being lumped together. And I think that it's something that we need to do separate because, as stated, the ARP funds was specifically for COVID-19. And we have to be very careful of how we use the monies that the government gives us so that we're not in violation of doing something incorrect. So monkeypox, maybe it should have been a separate resolution to state, continuing for the COVID vaccine, which should have been put into the regular operating budget. And the monkeypox, if it's something in additional, we can go to where it was stated that the Department of Health and Human Services has the surplus. So the 750, it does not add up in terms of the budget that was presented for this COVID-19 and the monkeypox. That's what I want to state. Thank you.
Thank you. So this will be roll call. Mr. Garcia, you can move on to the Department of Housing and Economic Development, please. Question is for Mr. Daniels and for Mr. Cruz. So back about 3 years ago, we passed the ordinance, a Section 3 for a Section 3 officer. What has been occurring throughout the city of Trenton, and you can go by any demolition site in the city, and you will not see women nor people of color on any of those sites. And so when we shell out $456,000, why aren't we making sure? See, Ms. Razak was put in place. She was hired to do that, and then she was fired for whatever reason. And then they said Mr. Bridges said he was bringing on someone else to actually do the work that we've never met.
Mr. Matlock, Council President.
And my concern is that when I go past these contractors, there is no one on those jobs that look like me as far as being a female or as far as being an African woman. There's no one that looks like me on those jobs. We had a contractor come out in front of my home. There was no women. There were no minorities. So my question to all of you is, when we're shelling out $456,000 and none of the people in the city of Trenton is on those sites, that's a problem for me. And it's a problem for all of us here. We have spoken to this numerous times, time after time after time. And so as much as we want the demolition to take place, we still want the residents in the city of Trenton to be included on that work site, and it's not happening. It is just not happening. So Mr. Daniels and Mr. Cruz, what can we do to get these contractors to include local residents?
Council President, if I might.
Yes, go right ahead, Mr. Daniels.
I'm very sensitive to.
Who is that? Mr. Garcia, delete that person because they continue to be disruptive. And they're doing it intentionally.
I'm looking.
Go ahead, Mr. Daniels.
I'm very sensitive to your statements, and as a matter of fact, we have moved within the department, particularly under Housing Production Division, by way of our Fight the Blight program, to do that very thing that you just talked about, so far as to make sure that the certifications are extended down to the purchasing department, and that the purchasing department has not only identified but also signed off on these local contractors that they have the significant capacities to be able to bid on these projects. Unfortunately, when we send these bids out, we get back what we get. I will tell you that just talking to a lot of the local contractors, some who may have the capacity to take down maybe one or two joint houses, that works in the instance that we have something like that and they're able to bid on it. However, on most of these larger jobs, when we're taking down properties en masse, it becomes an issue of economics. It becomes an issue of capacity. And hopefully, prayerfully, I'll even add, in the future, some of these contractors will begin to, if you will, partner and seek other resources where they will be able to have the capacity to bid on some of these bids. And, I just the other day I was having a conversation with somebody.
So Mr. Daniels.
Yes, ma'am.
So when we're shelling out close to $500,000 and there's no one on those projects that look like me or that represent the residents in the city, it's a problem, because we're talking about, you keep saying in the near future. We've been going through this for the last 4 years, asking to hire locals. When you give Cal Construction Company or any construction company $500,000, someone in the city of Trenton should be able to be on that payroll. And the ordinance is there. And when you put out these RFPs, it should be a part of the RFP. It should be something in that RFP detailing the hire of locals, especially if that money is attached to any CDBG grant funding, which I believe it is. So under the CDBG grant, it's the law. And so, I don't have a problem with the demolition. The problem is we need to hire some locals, because this money is going out of the city. And we can't talk about in the near future, because once the money leaves, it's gone. So I just wanted to to express that point to you and to Mr. Cruz, because this is not a new conversation. It's not new.
Council
Understood.
President? Council President?
Yes,
Council
go right
President,
ahead.
okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to just state briefly that if that's the case, and what I listened to what Mr. Daniel said, and he's speaking about in the near future, is this something that, or was it some way, Mr. Daniel, that instead of you lumping all of the properties together, the ones that you stated that were connected to one another, or maybe in the same ward, or maybe in the same community, maybe you could have put those properties as a bid and the others as a bid, and so on and so on. And maybe it would give the opportunity for the local contractors in this city to be able to take down, instead of, how many houses is this in total? 12? 12 houses, maybe they can take down 2. Maybe they can take down 3 houses, depending upon where the houses are located and how you can put them together, because it doesn't seem fair. And it just seems as though that these local contractors are constantly being overlooked. And it makes me think that they're being overlooked on purpose. Now, I heard the council president, or I don't know if it was council president did mention it, in terms of compliance, the section 3, I believe contractors, that's with HUD. We do have a contract compliance officer. I believe it's Mr. Matlock. He's newly in the law department. So I believe this is something that possibly he can assist with or have some type of input with. But I just find it, disheartening that these contractors are being overlooked. And it's constant. We're saying always in the future. When is the future coming? Because tomorrow is actually the future. But it's just not happening in terms, of our contractors. And that's all I want to say, Council President. Thank you.
Council President, it's Robin Vaughn. Council President? Hello? Council President, is she there?
I apologize. I have muted myself. Go right ahead, Councilwoman Vaughn.
Yeah. I concur with Council President McBride, as well as the comments by Councilwoman Wilkins on this topic. And I will just add that capacity is one issue. The other issue is that every contract that comes on this docket that exceeds a certain threshold, and $400,000 is up there. The U.S. government, federal government, as well as the state government we can get the scale, and I'm sure Isabel Garcia has it. Every business that contracts with government, rather it's local, county, state, federal, has to comply with EEOC affirmative action. So what they call contract compliance. If Carroll Construction does not want to comply with our country's laws, then it should not do business with government. Government is clear that if you contract with federal, state, local government, you're getting paid with taxpayer dollars. It's a taxpayer project. And as such, Robin Vaughn, African-American woman, is paying this tag here. So I should be able to get a job on that project. My brother should be able to get a job on that project. My neighbor should be they pay taxes. This is not money that belongs to some nebulous entity. This is our money. This is Trentonians' money. So the fact that we can't have have some equity here, get a job, and our fair share is just unacceptable. And the law permits us to do so. And we need to enforce that law. And we got to hold Carroll Construction accountable. So Carroll Construction knows when they signed on to that contract that they are obligated. It's not optional. They're obligated by law to hire a certain percentage of those jobs, whatever amount of resources, power that he used for this project. I don't know if he used 10 men or women. If he needs 10 men and or women to do this project at a $256,000, then the law tells him what percentage needs to be minority, people of color, a veteran, a woman, a disabled individual, all of that. Now, we're not talking about capacity here. We're talking about individual laborers. And we have an opportunity here to get returning citizens back on these type of jobs. And whatever percentage, and what I need the attorney to do, rather be West Bridges or Mr. Kaloji, or if I have to go to New Jersey Department of Labor myself and get the statistic or the scale. I believe if any project over, I think it's like, I don't know, 200 grand or whatever it is, there's an obligation that that company must prove or put forward a percentage of that contract to minorities and those protected classes, as they call them, protected classes, I think that's the term. So I'm a part of that protected class, being an African-American woman. Veterans are part of the protected class, and et cetera, et cetera. And everybody who's in executive position here, Mr. Cruz, up to the mayor. The mayor is the ultimate party who's responsible to ensure that this money is circulating back into our community. So I would like this to be roll call and actually deferred or tabled until the law department and or the our contracting or procurement department holds Carroll Construction accountable. If he doesn't want the job, if he doesn't want to hire what a percentage that he's obligated to hire, rather be 25% of the contract, 30% of the contract, I don't know, his manpower. Like I said, if this job needs 10 men or women to work the project to get it done at $456,000, and they say you got to have 20% of those have to be, people of color, then we better see that on that job site. And we can tell Trentonians that Carroll Construction is looking for day laborers and is willing to pay the market hourly rate based on this $450,000 contract. He doesn't get that full contract and keep it within his own company and take it out of our city without hiring 20%, 25% of Trentonians. And he could do that now, today. We don't have to wait until tomorrow to do that. And if he wanted to, he can actually subcontract and give that company that Mr. Daniels is talking about, who may not have the capacity, they can work in partnership with Carroll Construction. So Carroll Construction can not only hire individuals to meet the obligation of the law, he can also subcontract with a smaller organization or a smaller contractor. So there's options here. So there's no reason to be talking into the future. You have to get compliant with the law now. So by the time on Thursday, this is nothing new to these contractors. We just gave Carroll Construction a contract last year from May 15, 2021 to May 14, 2022 for $227,000. So Carroll Construction, the city of Trenton has been good to Carroll Construction. Carroll Construction has become a multimillionaire off of the city of Trenton, and he hasn't been a good partner. He has not been compliant with the law, and he has not fulfilled his obligation. And if I complain to the New Jersey Department of Labor, he'll go on that list as being non-compliant, and no government will be able to do business with it. So we can make him compliant. So either he gets compliant or we give the contract to another vendor that will hire Trentonians immediately. That's all I have to say, Council President.
Council President, may I add something? Council President?
Yes, Mr. Daniels, you may go right ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. I just wanted to point out that of the 5 employees that Carroll Construction presently have, 2 are Caucasian. That would be Mr. Carroll himself and his son. And the other 3 men are either Hispanic or Afro-Latinos who were hired from Trenton directly. So he is in compliant in terms of hiring minorities that reside here in the city.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
For giving me the opportunity to speak.
Mhm.
Council President, are we going to still roll call this?
Mr. Garcia, this will be roll call.
Thank you.
Certainly.
You may continue, sir.
Moving on. Resolution 22-364, resolution authorizing the City of Trenton to apply for an extension of time with the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation for award of contracts for West State Street between Prospect Street and Parkside Avenue.
This can be a part of the consent agenda.
Okay.
Council President? I have a question about this project.
Are you speaking to 22-364?
Yes, ma'am.
Go right ahead.
I would like to roll call.
You want a roll call?
Yes. This is the pavement contract, and I don't know, I assume, but I would want Mr. Onateri to clarify here. Is it going to be the same contracting company that paves Stuyvesant Avenue, Lucas Construction?
Mr. Onateri, you may speak to that.
Thank you, Council President. No, this is not it. This is the contract that was turned down by the council. You voted it down. It's just the engineering contract for West State Street project.
I don't remember voting that down.
I'm sorry?
I mean, Council President, I'm not asking you right now, Mr. Onateri. I'm speaking to my Council President, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did we vote this down? I don't like, idea that we voted this. I don't remember. I believe that this passed.
No, I think it was voted down. I think it was voted down based on the engine saying that he had hired the road inspector. I believe that was the reason.
So he didn't have a road inspector? But we didn't have a road inspector when he did Stuyvesant Avenue. That's why so many houses, property from their home to the curb was all jacked up, including my own. So I'm very wary of these type of projects, and then the city does not have the right expertise to be able to. And I understand that Mr. Holgar Stevens is retiring, but road inspection was not even part of his expertise anyways, and they used him because the gentleman they had, the city of Trenton does not have the expertise in this space to be doing these type of projects, because not once during the Stuyvesant Avenue project did we have a qualified road inspector. We used the construction company's road inspector and quality assurance professional. It didn't come from the Department of Public Works. The gentleman that Wally Onateri hired is not qualified, and he's clueless about how to do a road inspection.
Council President, may I please?
Yes, go right ahead, Mr. Onateri.
First of all, this is not a contract we're talking about here. This is a resolution to have NJDOT extend the money they gave us, which is going to expire because of what the council did by not approving this engineering contract. This is nothing to do with a sidewalk inspector. This is about an engineering contract for this West State project have nothing to do with sidewalk inspection.
Isn't the project a paving project, sir?
It is a paving project, but it
That's what I
has,
thought. Okay.
this is an
So it has-
engineering. This has to do with the engineering aspect of it. And this
Okay.
was turned down by the council.
Okay, well, again, there's no one there to provide the oversight to the engineers on these engineers, whatever phase of a pavement project, whatever phase, rather it's the feasibility all the way to engineering, whatever, the assessment, the requirements. You're in your department, Mr. Onetary, there's no expertise to provide oversight to these type of projects.
Council President?
You leave these individuals out there on their own with no oversight. They go home, they leave the city, they leave the neighborhood in a mess, in a dust bowl. Properties are tore up. I mean, it's just, I mean, you know, you want to do these projects, but not at the expense of they damage our community, our neighbors, our properties. We still have people here along Stuyvesant Avenue who are still recovering from the mess that the pavement project left this past summer.
Council President, this is NJDOT money right here that we are
Well, the
talking
Stuyvesant
about.
Avenue project was NJDOT money.
Councilwoman Vaughn, let me explain this to you, because this is exactly what I'm talking about when we are not allowed to explain what is going on, then we end up voting things down. Now we are rushing to get the state not to take this money back. This is what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to get extension from them because we're late, because by November of 2022, they'll be taking this money back. So that's why I'm asking you to just give me permission to ask for extension from NJDOT. That's all this is all about.
Thank you, Mr. Onetary.
Thank you.
President, can I speak to this?
We'll continue to the Department of Fire. Mr. Garcia.
This roll call
Is this a
or?
roll call?
Yes,
then?
yes, it was already stated.
Yep,
22-364 was to be roll called.
Resolution 22-344, resolution authorizing the appropriation of $446,771 from the funds allocated to the City of Trenton under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 for replacement of personal protective equipment for the City of Trenton Fire Department.
President?
Yes, go ahead.
And I'm just going to make my statement. I'm going to reiterate what I said, my commentary around the using the ARPA funds for monkeypox, and not in each department head. I would like Mr. Douglas, if he's on the line, to speak to this, because again, I don't understand. We're still in the midst of the budget cycle. I mean, you know, we in the City of Trenton, we still haven't approved our budget, but nonetheless, actually, we should be starting the next calendar year already. And I don't think I don't know when he's planning on introducing it, but it's already September. He should have introduced it already.
Budget's been introduced already, Robin. Please.
It has? No,
yes,
it has not.
back in March.
No, I'm talking about for the calendar year coming this calendar year. Mr.
You got to do with the last. You have to deal with the last.
No. You still
budget.
have to stay on target for the next
The
year.
state requires you to pass a budget by April 29th.
There's 3 deadlines. You're not in compliance. Stop.
You please stop lying.
Don't interrupt. No, I'm not lying. Those are facts.
You are lying.
You are.
You've made it very clear you're against paving. You're against demolition.
Only municipality. You're the only mayor.
Mr.
You're required to
Zelensky.
pass a budget by
Mr.
April 29th.
New Jersey who hasn't completed their budget.
Zelensky.
Don't play with me.
Because of you.
Don't play
Because
with
of
me.
you.
3 times.
Because of you.
Oh, please, you're the
Mr. Gishora.
executive.
All right. We're gonna have point of order here.
Mr.
7:45. Let's make it happen early.
Failure.
It's not Mr. Garcia.
Point of order. Point of order.
Yes,
everybody.
all about you, Robin.
Failure.
Mr. Garcia.
Okay, Council President, do you recognize anybody to speak, or am I?
Council President, if she's going to
Please.
lie, I have to straighten it out. I'm
4 years in
sorry.
a row. 4 years.
No,
And the people were fined for it.
Who is
Robin,
that
everybody in
that's
Stuyvesant
interrupting?
Avenue is appreciative of the job that
No,
we're
not
paving,
lying.
except
Mr.
you.
Wait a minute. Mr. Lavingberg, You might disrespect your subordinates, your supervisors, but don't come on this council disrespecting the council.
Council President, that was the mayor.
That was the mayor.
Yeah.
I know that can't be the mayor.
Yes, that was the mayor.
That was the
The
mayor.
entire
Come
time.
on, Mayor. Come on.
Come on, Council President,
Come
stop
on, Mayor.
lying.
Mayor.
Can we move on? Folks, can we move on? Can we please move on?
Everybody.
Can we please move on? Can we please move on? Can we please move on?
Mr. Garcia.
Point of information, can we please move on?
That means to silence everyone when I ask for a
I
point of
just wanted
order.
to say about
Okay.
the resolution authorizing the fire.
I'm just trying to make sure that I can't hear. Hold on a second.
I wanted Mr. Douglas to speak to the
But-
fact why
Okay,
wasn't this the general budget?
Councilwoman,
Yes.
can you tell me what you were stating before you were rudely interrupted so that I could understand? Because I could not understand with both of you going back and forth what your question was.
Yes. I just wanted Mr. Douglas to, provide commentary as to why, to comment on why he's asking for the ARPA funds and not using, why wasn't this line item in his general budget?
Council President?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yes, that's Mr. Douglas.
Yes, ma'am.
Go right ahead, Mr. Douglas.
Thank you, Council President. Just going back in time, what predates me, the Trenton 360 plan with all approved or identified projects in the city did actually have this particular item within that plan, which consisted of 50 harnesses, 50 tanks, and 50 masks. Now, just quoting the ARP fund usage, one of the uses maintained, it states that maintain vital public services even amid declines in revenue resulting from the crisis. Now, with the fire department, when the COVID pandemic did happen, we were on the front line as it relates to identifying and going to see those residents in homes not knowing what to expect. To be able to see those residents, we actually had to use our SCBAs, and we were the only one in the city that actually were fully protected from the atmosphere because we wear SCBAs to go into an atmosphere that may be dangerous. Now, when I arrived and came here, I was familiar with the request for the ARP funds as it relates to the mask. At that point, it was actually $100,000 more than actually what I put in. That's in the resolution right now. I did find a vendor, actually got more equipment in addition, saving less money initially what was quite requested in the initial 360 plan, that was done prior to me getting here. I feel the fact that this is a necessary expense, it coincides and lines up with the usage of the funds, and as it relates to not putting in the budget, from reading what the usage for the funds for as it relates to the fire department and what we need, I didn't put it in the budget because it's already expected the fact that the ARP funds will be used to purchase these items.
Okay. So Mr. Douglas, let me ask you this. The $220,000 that was just awarded to the fire department, why didn't you subtract that off of this amount?
The $220,000 is a project related to the ventilation systems for the fire trucks in the firehouse. It has nothing to do with the SCBA packs.
Okay.
That was a FEMA grant that was awarded through necessity of us not having this system that escapes all the carbon monoxide from the diesel engine starting and not getting trapped in the firehouse.
Okay, so it was not. Okay, because
it's not related. Yes,
protection. I thought it meant. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Thank you,
Council President.
Yes, go right ahead.
We're talking about harnesses for the fire department. This is a safety issue, like Director Douglas just had said, that at the end of the day, we're not only putting our firefighters' lives in jeopardy, but we're putting the homeowners in this city's life in jeopardy. So we should be doing what we have to do to protect the firefighters' lives and the homeowners. And Director Douglas is doing this because he's putting this forth. I don't see how this is not needed. I mean, he's saying this is needed. It's right there. It states it. I'm looking right at the numbers. I mean, he's trying to do what we have to do to make sure that when our firefighters are going on the scene and they're in a burning building, that they can come out and save not only their lives, but hopefully other people that are in the houses. So I will definitely be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to this? If not, Councilwoman Vaughn, did you want this to be a part of the consent agenda or roll call?
Oh, no. I would like this roll call because I want to get an opportunity to go back and look at the fire department's budget and get an understanding as to why. Because hypothetically, what are you going to do in the future, right? Because the opera funds are depleted. So, so you should always have the fire department should always, or any department should always account for these things in their general operating budget. And this is now, we've been through COVID. These purchases are now business as usual. So it should be part of his plan. And I think that the directors need to really understand that that at budget time, they really have to account for all their anticipated expenses to run their department. That's their responsibility. And it doesn't appear that that's happening. And the ARPA funds is not something that it's a one-time, allotment of funds. And he needs to put a line item in his budget to account for these type of purchases.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
This will be a roll call, and we will move on to the Department of Police.
Certainly. Resolution 22-367, resolution accepting a bid and awarding a contract to Superion LLC, a Central Square company, to provide annual maintenance and support for the integrated public safety 911 system for the Department of Police for a period of 2 years from September 1st, 2022 to August 31st, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $606,692.82, bid 2022-43.
This can be roll called.
Noted.
All right, can we move on to the ordinance?
Certainly.
First reading and introduction.
Ordinance 22-29, ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property identified on the city map as Lombard Alley between Beatty Street and Malone Street pursuant to NJSA 48:12-14B5.
Ordinance is always a roll call, so.
Noted.
Yes, and so Mr. Garcia, I am going to move to open up the public comment.
Certainly. Okay, if there's any members of the public who wish to speak, please raise your hand. I'm looking to see if any hands are raised at this time.
Yes, can I get some help from the council members if they can see any hands?
I see none at the moment. Are there any from the phones who wish to speak? I am not seeing or hearing anyone at this time, Council President.
Councilwoman Vaughn or Caldwell Wilson, do you see any hands?
No, I don't see anyone.
Okay. All righty. So we'll move to close public comment.
Motion to motion to close public comment.
All righty, and I'll move into the civic comment, starting with Councilwoman Caldwell Wilson.
Do we need to move in second, or are we okay moving along? Okay, moving along to civic comment?
Yes.
Okay, very well.
Okay. I'm up.
Yes, Councilwoman Caldwell Wilson.
Yes. I have good evening, everybody. And thank you for attending our meeting. I have a question for Mr. Ladenburg. Are you there?
Mr. Ladenburg.
Mr. Lappenberg?
Could you pose your question to Mr. Cruz if he's not here, Councilwoman?
I don't know if he can answer it. That's a problem. Or is there someone from the water treatment? I had been going back and forth with Mr. Lappenberg because in New York and a couple of other states, there's been a polio outbreak and it's being traced to the wastewater treatment system. And I have sent all kinds of information to Mr. Lappenberg, and I wanted him to follow up with me to see if they were doing testing. Mr. Cruz?
Yes, Councilwoman, good evening. I am not aware as to the conversations you've been having with Mr. Lappenberg, but I will convey the message to him tomorrow morning.
Yeah, because I'd like him to, answer me on Thursday because I'm very concerned about it because there's constant articles coming out, and I'm not saying that our water treatment facility has been affected, but I think that prevention is better than cure, and that we need to get some testing done. So if you could speak to him, I would appreciate it.
Yes.
Mr. Cruz, while I have you on the phone.
Yes.
When are we going to expect our budget with the amendments?
So, Councilwoman, there has been communications between the council and a representative of DCA. DCA made a recommendation, and I am not aware that any communications have happened since. So we are still in limbo, just waiting to hear from you. And it appears that Mr. Lappenberg just showed up, Councilwoman.
Well, Mr. Garcia was kind enough to send us all the list of the amendments that we had suggested.
Okay.
And I'm sure he sent them to you also. And I'm asked, has that been taken care of?
The message was sent to Department of Community Affairs through a direct communication to one of the gentlemen that was mediating the budget with council and the administration. He in turn went back and conveyed another message to the council or Mr. Garcia, but I have not been made aware as to what action is the council wishes to take next.
So Mr. Cruz, it's my understanding, like we went through the budget. We recommended the amendments to be put in there and the budget to be drawn up with the amendments. That's the procedure. So why is DCA holding everything up? I don't understand. I think that it should have come to us so that we could look at
the communication. Yes, no, the communication did not come to us. The communication went to DCA. That is why I am stating that DCA made recommendations to the council.
Well, I didn't see any recommendations.
Well, I would suggest to Mr. Garcia to go back and recirculate the email, I guess, that was sent by Mr. Pettix.
I'll go ahead and find that email and recirculate.
Yeah, because this is council's budget.
I believe, okay, I'm sorry.
This is our budget, and
Correct.
they're supposed to accept our budget with amendments. Am I correct? This is how we ended up in court in 2010.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not aware, Councilwoman, I'm not sure if you are aware that there was also a communication from the Director of Community Affairs to the city, to council as well, a couple of weeks ago or last week. So if you have not gotten that information, then that should also need to be recirculated again.
Well, I'm concerned because especially pertaining to the budget, we're all responsible for this budget, and the communication should come to all council members from DCA regarding this budget.
I believe it was sent. I believe it was sent to Mr. Garcia, I believe, and I'm not sure if the message went to Council President. But I know that there has been a communication from DCA to the council body. Mr. Lavenberg, Madam President, was actually raising his hand a couple of seconds ago. If you would like to, yes.
All right, thank you.
So you're welcome.
Yes, Mr. Ladenburg.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I'm sorry. I was listening on a different device and didn't have access to a microphone. I caught the tail end of your question. Is this relative to the cases in New York of polio?
Yeah, this is about the polio outbreak in New York and with various areas. And my feeling is that prevention is better than cure.
Oh, yeah.
So wondering if we were doing any kind of testing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We test we test like every 2 minutes of every day that goes on.
No, but for polio, for the polio.
No. Well, it's all about the disinfection process that we use. Okay. And, I can tell you soup to nuts that, polio virus has no chance of ever leaving the filtration plant. If there was even that possibility, we would have to issue a boil water advisory for something like that. That would be like a complete failure of our systems. So, we're with 100% accurate that it's not there. It is tested for, but they actually test for like different bacteria and viruses, but with the same effect. And they go particularly for viruses that are much hardier than, say, the polio virus. So, yeah, we're on that. And as a matter of fact, we tested from soup to nuts all the way to the wastewater treatment plant where there is sufficient disinfection that goes on there that would ensure that polio doesn't reach the Delaware River for the downstream users of that. So, yeah, we're soup to nuts on that. And we never.
I'm concerned because New York is north on the Delaware River, and I'm very concerned.
Yeah, right. They're on the Hudson, we're on the Delaware, but the one thing is that's most important with that is always to bring it up is always about vaccination and things like that. To me, it's senseless that we go through this when the vaccine is so easily available and free to get if it needs be with that. But rest assured, when it comes to the water treatment, we test for bacteria and viruses that are much more hardier than the polio virus, and it would probably include the polio virus as well. So there's with absolute certainty, that's.
And so what about the Legionnaire's disease? It was in the water in Hamilton.
So Legionnaire's disease is something that actually it's wherever there's water anywhere on the planet, you're going to find Legionella bacteria. And the question is, does it have an opportunity to grow? And to grow, it needs to have like the right temperature, just around 98 degrees, similar to like what a hot water heater would be. And, that's what goes on. And that's why people have to take care of maintenance inside their houses relative to the shower heads, the CPAP machines, different things like that, because people that are immunosuppressed are vulnerable to Legionella, and it can happen anywhere, anytime you go. You can get it, walking by a mister at a supermarket or something like that. It's one of those things that's in the air. We are aggressively working with the state health department in Hamilton Township because there has been some isolated cases in Hamilton, and we're moving forward and coming back to council for a project that we think will really help, and that would be getting what they call flushing hydrants at the end of like dead end streets. That's where water tends to be the most vulnerable, and that's where something like Legionella would have the greatest possibility of growing. So, we look forward to get that on the docket real soon.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank
you, Councilwoman. Thank you.
Is that it, Councilwoman?
Yes, I'm done. Thank you.
All righty. So we'll move on to Councilman Harrison. Councilman Joseph Harrison.
Yes, Council President.
All right.
I would like to talk about yesterday. There was a public hearing about St. Francis Hospital. It was 11 o'clock. It was held on 610 New York Avenue, actually not even in the East Ward. That's one of my biggest concerns, that we're going to have people in the neighborhood losing health care. We're going to have people losing jobs at the hospital, the local businesses around the hospital. So I said something to the mayor, and we're working on setting up more meetings to be held after work so we could have people from the community who can be there, business owners who want to be there to listen, to hear what's going on. So I think there needs to be more meetings heard so that the people can be there, their voices can be heard, and it can actually be in the community where the hospital is located, not like I said, it was on New York Avenue. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Yushao.
Yes, I'd like to talk about when you're making remarks, you want individuals to look like you for work. How about we talk about qualified people that want to do the job? Going back when I was acting mayor, I had to go out to several houses that people had kitchens remodeled. They waited their whole life to have the kitchen remodeled. They wanted people to look like you to do the job, and the job failed because they couldn't even read a ruler. And when I went out there to try to resolve the problem,
Wow.
you know what they said to me? They turned around and said, we hired people that looked like them, but they weren't qualified. Don't we want to do better and make qualifications to people that you have standards that you want to do better? The jobs are open to anybody. Let's have qualified people that can pass the test and do the job. When I was in there, I hired many people in there. My record shows what I did. All I asked if you had qualifications. If you didn't, we'll get you qualified. But you can't have women going out there with a hard hat because you want somebody to look like you and getting in a hole. If they don't want to get in a hole, they don't want to get in a hole. You can't make people do this. I just don't understand what you're doing. I stayed out of it until now. This is unbelievable. You're trying to force something on somebody that they don't want to do it. And you heard what they said with the construction people. We have them there. What more do you want than that? What more do you want?
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Vaughn?
Yes, I just want to just clear up a housekeeping item. New Jersey Department of Community Affairs states that the governing body, this is regarding the budget, because the city of Trenton, we're in the third quarter and we still haven't passed our calendar year budget for 2022. And it has been, we missed our statutory deadlines. The mayor is supposed to introduce that budget and the council is supposed to approve it based on the law. And if anybody wants to know and understand that, the law is available. You can look it up online. It's on DCA's website, Statute 48 4-5, introduction and approval. The mayor is the executive of the city. He is his job to present to this council, introduce to this council a comprehensive budget that's supposed to fund his plan for the city. And it's supposed to be introduced in a timely manner based on the timeline. Could somebody mute themselves? Based on the timeline defined in state law. No one council person can prevent the mayor from introducing his plan and how he plans to fund it. And given that plan and introducing it to the council for our review and approval. Here we are, September the 13th. That budget was due back February 10th. And that was first quarter of the year. The calendar year municipalities that are on a calendar year budget, a calendar fiscal year, must produce a budget by February. And the city of Trenton still hasn't approved its budget, and it's September 2022, and we're in the third quarter of the year. We should be preparing for next year. How many months away are we from February? The mayor is nowhere near close to introducing a budget for calendar fiscal year 2023. He's been late every year since he's been in office. Every year. He missed several statutory deadlines. And want to point to the council and say one person on the council is the reason he has been an epic failure to this city. So, what I wanted to talk about is the issue that Capital Health Center is proposing to acquire actually a hostile takeover of St. Francis Hospital. And it's very concerning that the mayor of our city didn't show up there either. And he hasn't even communicated that to the city and all the residents who work there and their families that are going to be impacted by the fact that they'll be losing household income and perhaps medical services, health benefits, etc. They will lose their job. And there's no plan and no communication as to how we are going to absorb that economic devastation. If St. Francis Hospital is taken over by Capital Health, that whole surrounding community economics will be devastated. So you would think that the mayor, this government, even our council, should be having some conversations with the executives of Capital Health Center. But that hasn't happened. I was in that meeting. I attended that meeting. And one of the residents pointedly said, "Where is our mayor? Where is the council?" He said. "Where is Governor Murphy? Where is President Biden? Why hasn't the mayor gone out, contacted Bill Murphy and asked for assistance? Hey, our government bailed out plenty of corporations who was facing fiscal issues like St. Francis is. And our government bailed them out. Why? Because the economic impact of job losses and the impact to families and household income and joblessness and the unemployment rate in the city of Trenton will be so devastating that government must act and government must come and help. So I will say to my council members, to the mayor of this city, he's too busy running around having parties instead of telling the people that St. Francis Hospital is about to move out, about to get acquired by Capital Health, and hundreds of people will lose their jobs. And one of the residents pointedly expressed that it wasn't even in the local newspapers. And then they had the audacity to have it at 11 a.m., whereas everybody's at work. Who's going to know? So we have some serious issues going on in the city of Trenton, all of which are not being addressed. Unemployment rate higher than any other government, state, county, state, national. We're 4.5% unemployed in the city of Trenton. The state is 3.6. The county is 3.0. Why is it that the city of Trenton, with all its resources, with all its reserves, have the highest unemployment rate in the county? So, in Mercer County, the third wealthiest county in the state, and Trenton, the capital city, has the highest unemployment rate, 4.5%, and we can't even get our contractors that we give lucrative contracts to hire Trentonians. So we need to get serious and prioritize and understand that the priority in our city is not block parties. The priority in our city is joblessness, getting people jobs so they can buy homes, so they can feed their families. And that's not being done here. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Wilkins?
Council President, I want to make mention, if Mr. Cruz is on the line, I wanted to reiterate to Mr. Cruz and ask, he stated back in the August, I believe it was the August 4th meeting that, or the July, I think it was the August 4th meeting, that the PBA negotiations were going to be finalizing and the contract was going to be ratified so that it can be presented to council. We can get the PBA, we can get their raises and their pay. Mr. Cruz, has that taken place yet? I just wanted to follow up on that.
Yeah, yes, Councilwoman Adam Cruz. We have not been able to come to an agreement because the budget has not been adopted yet. When I made that assumption, I assumed that council would have adopted the budget by then. That has not been the case. In order for us to be able to see what we can offer the unions, we need to know exactly where we are in the budget so we can then proceed as to what percentages and when the retroactive payments are going to take place. Are they taking place this year? Are they taking place next year? Are we breaking them up? You know, it's a whole moving target for as long as we don't have a budget.
Okay, and I did receive the letter from DCA from Mr. Pettix suggesting that the city council move forward with the 2022 municipal budget. I do not recall them addressing all of our concerns and all of the information that we sent or that was forwarded over to them. But Mr. Cruz, when we last spoke and it was made mention, sir, you did not state that, I don't recall, let me state that it was contingent upon whether the budget would be complete and be passed, because all the other contracts have been completed. I mean, correct. I do realize that the police is a large budget, but so is fire. From my understanding, the only two contracts that have not been completed are with regard to the PBA and the not the FMBA, the
supervisors. The supervisors.
Yeah, the supervisors union for the fire. Thank you, sir. Thank you. But that was, I don't recall that was one of the reasons, and it wasn't contingent upon that. But I'm hopeful that we can move forward with getting these other unions their pay, because you know it becomes unfair when other unions have settled and these unions are still left in limbo, because the other unions were not contingent upon the budget being passed. I'm sure that if we had some type of foresight in seeing and having an idea of what the budget would kind of look like, because all numbers are estimated and predictions, because as we know, the budget does change. We've gone over millions of dollars in overtime for the budget, but I'm hopeful, Mr. Cruz, I just wanted to check up on that, but I'm hopeful that the PBA contract can be ratified, and the supervisors for the fire department can be ratified quickly and very soon. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is that I've been receiving notifications because I was a union member for ASME Local 2286, and the state health benefits are getting ready to drastically increase for our employees. I don't know what input or what's being done in terms of the city, the administration having input. But I know that with COVID-19, we have suffered, the people of the state, of the city, of this country have been suffering from the inflation and inflated prices of everything. Now we're, the employees are being told that their state health benefits are going to increase drastically. So they will, of course, be bringing home less money and therefore being unable to properly or even financially be stable to take care of their families and their households. And I think that that's something that needs to be talked about with the administration and speaking with the unions and maybe having some type of forum with the employees, giving the employees some type of hope. Morale gets low when people feel as though that they're losing, especially when you're speaking of income. And all of us, everyone needs their benefits. Benefits are imperative. Most countries give them free, but not in the U.S. So we have to deal with what the law of our land is. But I think that that's something that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed sooner than later. And I just wanted to touch on those 2 points. And my last point that I wanted to speak on is regarding the Trenton Board of Education. There was a total fiasco this week with our students, with our parents, with the redistricting. And, everyone likes to blame council. I've had several phone calls with regards to it. I have forwarded people to the Trenton Board of Education to speak with the Board of Education in order to try and attempt to rectify the situations. The parents are suffering. The parents feel helpless. They feel hopeless. Children are being shipped. You may have children that are dwelling in the East Ward, and they're being sent because of quote unquote redistricting to the North Ward, some even to the South Ward, all the way across town. It just doesn't make any sense. And a lot of parents don't have vehicles. So they have to walk their children to school because little children cannot walk to school alone. And you're talking at least a couple of miles, because I've even heard that transportation hasn't shown up. The kids are being separated from their siblings. They go to school with their siblings. And, when we were growing up, we were going to school in our communities, in our wards. I went to school up the street from my home, from where I grew up on Southern Street. I went to school, it was junior 1 at the time. I walked to junior 1. And of course, Trenton Central High School, once we went to high school, wherever you live, you had to get there. But you're talking about young children and parents that have to get their children to school to be educated. The students are suffering. They feel displaced. They feel afraid. It's a lot of different violence that's going on in the streets now in the city with regards to what ward you live in, what side of the town you live on. So it's putting the kids in a bad situation. Everyone wants to fuss and fight with the council, about the 24 million, but no one is talking about what's going on with these students. And this is a crisis that's going on because from what I understand, everything hasn't been resolved. Our students, our youth are our most vulnerable asset in our communities. We have to be mindful how we treat them, how we handle them. They're in unfamiliar neighborhoods. They're in unfamiliar schools. Some have gone into the next grade level, maybe going from elementary to middle school. And in most cases, you normally follow the students that you've been in school with most of your life, from kindergarten on up into the 5th grade, I believe, ends the elementary school. And then you go on to middle school in the 6th grade, and you expect to see the same students. But these children are displaced everywhere. And then I hear that transportation wasn't showing up. The buses, they didn't have the bus services, and I received several calls. People are panicking. They're upset. And something needs to be done because this is shameful. The children have to travel all over the city, and it seems like it has not been rectified. And I even got, like I stated, I even got a call, someone saying they're blaming council. I'm like, what does council got to do with the Board of Education and setting up the schedule to get these children into their proper schools and where they need to go? What has council got to do with the transportation that picks up the students on the corners and take them and transport them to their schools? We have nothing to do with that. You know, I employ any parent that's on the line. Reach out to the Board of Education to get this situation rectified. And if the council can help in any way, reach out to the council members. These parents are distraught. These children, they, you know, and they see their parents acting that way and see their parents feeling that way. And how do you think it's reflecting on them? Well, something really has to be done about this. You know, but I appeal, you know, to the parents. You reach out and you keep fighting and making sure your children are in a school near home. They're telling children to take Ubers to school. They're not providing them with bus services. They're telling them to get on local buses. Children.
Oh.
These children are afraid. They're like, I can't ride a bus. And the other recourse is that parents have to walk and take their children across town to school. Some parents actually have to be at work earlier than their children have to be in school, and siblings are normally, the older siblings are normally left with the responsibility to help to take their siblings. Let's walk to school, let's go to school, let's get on the bus. But the siblings are now separated into different schools. I don't hear anybody with an uproar about that.
Not a person.
Not one. Activists and all. But something definitely has to be done. I want to just say in closing, thank you everyone for coming on the call. Thank you for staying civically engaged. It is truly appreciated. And to know, you know, what's going on in this city. It's very important. It's very important that we all know and that you know what's going on in your city, your rights and what you can and what you know, what you can do. And what you can do assist. Thank you, Council President. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I would like to thank everyone for coming out this evening and tuning into the council meeting. I would just like to thank all the residents in the city for the outpour of condolences to my family. And I would like to offer condolence to the Vereen family and to the Rambo family. It seems as though that was 3 deaths that took place within days, all upon Martin Luther King Boulevard. All the families was from Martin Luther King Boulevard, and I'd like to send my condolences out to all of them. The Vereen family is a very big family. They lost their brother, and the Rambos, Blair Rambo lost his wife. He's born and raised on Martin Luther King Boulevard, and then my brother. So I would like to thank everyone for their outpouring of condolences to my family. And I would like to say I'm not going to speak long tonight because everyone needs to get home. I just wanted to piggyback off of what the councilwoman had stated in reference to the schools. So when the census had came in, just like they had to redistrict for the redistrict the wards for voting purposes, the Board of Education had to redistrict, but they never involved the community. They never told the parents what was occurring. They might have had a meeting or two, and everybody make excuses about the parents won't come out, whatever. But it was their job to inform the parents. I have a family on MLK Boulevard with 5 children. The mother is absent from the home, and the grandfather and the grandmother is taking care of the 5 children. The oldest child is in the 5th grade. They have 4 children in 4 different schools. There is no way that they can continue to get those children to school, on top of the fact that they have separated siblings. And I used to hear them saying, oh, Trump separated the children you're separating the children right here in our city from their siblings that they depend on. They depend on their older siblings to meet them when that bell rings and guide them home from the first grade and the kindergarten. Now you have a family of 5 with 4 children in school, and they're all in separate schools. This is unacceptable. You cannot separate siblings without it being some type of trauma. Who came up with this plan without even talking to the parents to see if they needed transportation? I have a child in the South Ward that has been redistricted to the West, to Jefferson School, from Parker School to Jefferson, without any transportation. Where's the outcry? Where are the people talking about the children? But that's not important. You want to sit here and say, oh, Kathy McBride didn't do this, Kathy McBride didn't do that. But you need to get involved. You need to find out what we could do as a community to fix this. Because if they have to be bused across the city, then we have to provide the transportation to bus them. If you want to separate 4 children, 4 siblings, and in some cases 3 and 2, we have to come up with a better system than this. It's not working. It can't work when there's only one parent in the home and there's 3 different schools. So we need to have, this discussion needs to take place down at the Board of Education. We need to basically go down and find out how they can bus those children. They want $24 million to line their pockets, but the children are literally asked to walk from South Trenton to West Trenton. It's unacceptable. And so I'll say to all of you on this line, it's all of our job. We need to get involved. We cannot afford to have those children stranded in their own city. It's unacceptable. And as far as St. Francis Hospital goes, I mean, we sat back and allowed Mercer Hospital to leave the borders of our city. We cannot afford to lose St. Francis Hospital. We just can't. The community can't afford it, and it's just as simple as that. You know the impact. You know the people that depend on those jobs, and you also know the businesses that depend on the employees over at St. Francis. This is going to be devastating if it is not stopped. And so we need to get on board and put our input out there to everybody that will listen. And we need to start with the governor and go on up the food chain. We need to shut that down. It can happen. They can save that hospital. It has been done in other cities, and we could do it here. We just have to set our differences aside and go out and fight for our constituents. I thank each and every one of you for coming out this evening, and have a blessed night, and we'll see you all back here on Thursday. Thank you. Mr. Garcia, I would
Certainly.
like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Caldwell-Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Michelle?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes.
Ms. Wilkins?
Yes.
Ms. McBride?
Yes.
Motion carried, meeting adjourned. I have 8:31.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you all.
night.
Good night.
Mr. Garcia?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Martinez, liquor store owner. I'm wondering.
No.
This meeting is
No.
Adjourned.
No. You're not
Ms.
allowed
Martinez,
to do
you
that,
can
ma'am.
contact me directly in the morning. Thank you.
I don't know how to contact you. You're a different person than I worked with before.
All right.
Can you please add your email
can,
on the
Mr.
chat?
Mr. Garcia,
information is
Mr.
available
Garcia,
online.
you have to end this.
I
you
will
have
end
to
the
it.
meeting. I am
You have
ending
to
the
end this
meeting.
meeting.
I am ending the meeting now. Thank you.